Hello my gorgeous cuties out there and welcome. In today's video, I'm going to play with these three new Beauty Bay palettes. These are their new monochromatic palettes. And yes, I bought these on impulse. And I'm not sure why I bought these when I did not really care for the Wilderness palette, at least the mattes in it. And then I went and bought more Beauty Bay palettes. But who knows? I might really love these ones. But I'm going to do a look with each of them, do some swatches, and let you know my thoughts on them. But before we get into this video, if you're new here, hello, welcome. My name is Bree, and I'm just a crazy lover of all things beauty, and I like to post a lot of fun, colorful makeup content. So if those are things that you like to watch, please hit that subscribe button and join this little family. But with that being said, let's get into this video. Alright, my love bugs, I hope you guys are all doing well. I'm kind of in a mood today. I'm feeling a little extra spicy. I'm feeling a little low energy. So I'm trying to wrap myself up and get back into better spirits. It's just one of those days where you just feel like blah and you don't want to do anything. But I'm trying to be productive, and I was like, no, I need to review stuff. I have a lot of things sitting and I actually need to put up videos. So I got these things in the mail, these three palettes, and they came so messed up. Like the box was all dented. When I opened the package, all of the boxes that the palettes were in were all open. Like Customs didn't even try to put them back right. But hey, they don't care. They're just there to check and then throw the box and get into the next one. So we're off to a good start with these. Also, I ordered these with express shipping and they still took really long to get to me. I think it took like a whole week and a half for them to finally ship it. So here we are now. I think what, 2 weeks later, 2-3 weeks later, and I'm finally getting this. But I'm going to show you each one and give you all the info. Then we'll get into three different looks. So these are the 16 pan options. They had two other options. So there was one that had 9 pans in it that went for $7.50 each. Then they had one that had 42 shadows in it that is $25 each. And I didn't want those ones because they're really big and a lot of the shades looked very similar. So I went with the 16 shadow version, which these go for $11 each. And Beauty Bay is a very affordable brand. So the first one is Earthy. Like I said, these are $11 each. And this is obviously going to be a green monochromatic palette. I did think the colors were really pretty in here. It has a big mirror, and the bigger option had browns. This one didn't come with any like browns in it. It's all pretty much greens, grungy greens, minty shades. The shimmers look really beautiful in here. Then there's the berries one, which is obviously gonna like be pinks and berry shades. But this one is like this. I do like the options in here. I like that there's some pastels, some more hot pinks, some like deeper shades, and like various tones. So I thought it was actually quite pretty. And then this is the Midnight palette, which this one is all purples and blues. I do like this one, probably the best, or maybe the green one. I'm not totally sure. I love my blues and purples and greens, but there's these beautiful shimmers. Top half is purple, bottom half is blue. There's depth in here. So I think the range in the 16 pan palettes were the best. So I'm gonna zoom you guys in and create a look with each of them. And then I'll let you know what I think at the end of this video. So let's get into these looks. So I'm going to start off with the Midnight palette. We're gonna go right for the black shade because you know I love a good black if you've been watching me for a while. And I'm gonna use this little detailed rougher brush. What is this? 26. I always forget to tell you guys what brushes I'm using. I just dusted off the excess and I'm gonna stamp that on the outer corner and just put it where I want it placed. This is a good, pretty pigmented black. It's not the most pigmented black that I've seen, but it's doing a good job. So I'm gonna just focus that on the outer corner. Now I'm going to go into Voodoo, this darker purple. Pick it up on this small rougher 14 brush, and I'm gonna lay it over here where I want the purple to start at. And I'm just gonna lay it over too on the edge of that black. Now I'm going to go into the denim shade, which is the deep blue matte. I'm gonna dust off the excess. I'm gonna use the same brush, just cleaned it off with a color switch. And I'm gonna lay that in the inner portion of the look. Just kind of stamping and then like kind of slowly blending out the edges just slightly. So now I want to blend out the edges with a pastel. So I think I'm going to use this pastel right here to blend out the edge of the purple, just ever so slightly, just to get things more seamless up here and to use more shades. I'm going to take the same brush, I'm going to clean it off, and I'm going to go into the shade called Mist and use that to blend out the edge of the blue. I'm going to put on a little bit of glitter primer. I'm going to use the Give Me Glow glitter primer because that's what I like to do with my shimmers, and that's where we are going next. So I'm just going to cover my lid area where I'm going to put the shimmer really quickly with this. So the glitter primer is laid down, and I want to use these two metallics right here. I think I want to use this one and then maybe like this lighter blue. So I'm going to start off with Electric. It has all these pretty like little pink shimmers all throughout the purple. Looks really pretty. I'm just taking the same brush that I used to put the glitter primer on, which is a ColourPop E3 brush. Oh, I feel like so official that I'm saying the brush names. So now I'm going to go in with Sky in the inner portion. I'm going to use the same ColourPop brush, but I did clean it off with a color switch. And I'm going to just put that all in the inner part. Ooh, yes. A beautiful blue shimmer. I did have a little fallout from the purple metallic, but nothing crazy, and I was able to dust it off. So that was good, but I probably just put too much on the brush. So now I'm going to go in with, I think, blue on the bottom, and I'm going to use the shade called Ghrelin. Is it Ghrelin? I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. But I'm going to just put that all on the bottom of my eye, on the lower lash line. Kind of stamp it on. So I'm going to go into the shade called Hex, the black one that I started off with. I'm just going to put a little bit on the edge just to connect with the top corner. So now I'm going to go into Tranquil, this like pastel purpley pinky shade. Use that as my inner corner highlight because I love using a like pastel in the inner corner, like a matte pastel. It's like one of the best things to do for the inner corner. So I'm just gonna spread that there. So for the final touch, I want to go in with the shade Potion, just a little bit in like the inner portion down here. I'm using this Avish pencil brush. I don't even know where I got this. It was probably from a subscription box, and I did wet it just to minimize any kind of shimmer fallout. And I'm just gonna put it right there in like the inner portion. So here's everything. These are all the shadows I'm going to use on my eyes. I felt like I used a good amount in the palette. And I'm going to go off camera really quickly, finish up my look, and then I will be back to show you guys the final results. So I'm back, and here's the finished look. I'll give you guys one close shot so you can see how everything turned out. I decided to go with lashes because I felt like this look needed them. They're really bold, and I really filled my lid space, so I wanted more dramatic lashes to go with this dramatic look. So what I did off camera was I went in with the Unearthly Cosmetics satin lipstick in Deanna, and then I realized this was way too light for me, so I went over it with the Mercury Wave lip clay from Kaleidos, and I mixed them together to make like the perfect shade for me. It's a very cool tone, gray purple shade, which I thought went well with this look. I did also go in the waterline with the LA Girl Shockwave liner and the shade Electric. This is like the perfect blue for that blue shade down here. I also used the Kiss Lash Glue, and then I also did use the e.l.f. Big Mood Mascara. I'm trying to finish this up. It's not my favorite, but I'm trying to use it up. But that is how I completed everything for this look. So I think we should now get into the next palette. I think I'm going to start off with the shade called Ivy, which is the darkest shade. I think that's just the best method for these palettes, or just in general for their formula. And I'm gonna focus that on the outer corner. Just like how I did the first look with the darkest shade, this is definitely having fallout, even though I dusted off the excess, but the pigmentation is fire. I'm so happy with that. Okay, so I'm just gonna dab this on both sides and just really pack it on. So I forgot to also mention that I was using the rougher 26 brush, but now I'm going to go in with this Unearthly Cosmetics A7 brush, and I want to go into, I'm thinking Pine, the shade down here. I think it's such a pretty shade of green, and I think that's what I want to use above the edge here, and I'm going to take it into the crease as well. But I think I'm going to do teal at the bottom just so we can use as many shades as possible. So I'm going to go into the shade called Cobra. Such a nice like teal cool tone shade. And I'm just going to run that on the lower lash line. So now I'm going to try to take a little bit of Ivy on the outer corner of the bottom part just to connect it. Let's see if that will lay over that teal. It's not really doing what I want it to do. I feel like it's not sitting at all over the teal, like it's almost kind of patchy. So for sure the shade doesn't do well laying it over other mattes. I don't know if you guys can tell, it just kind of started bolding right where I tried to put it. So we're gonna leave that alone, and I'm just gonna cover it back up with the Cobra shade. So now let's get into the shimmers. I did lay down some glitter primer from Give Me Glow, and I'm going to use the same brush. This is the ColourPop E3 brush, and I'm going to go into the shade called Sage, and I'm going to use that on the outer portion. Kind of just doing like the same kind of setup like I did on the first look. And now I want to go into Satellite, which is a like gray metallic. Yeah, it's a gray. But I feel like it has like a hint of green to it. Oh, wow. Yeah, that's like a, kind of like a gunmetal gray. It's not really a silver, but I love this. These are beautiful kind of metallics to go with greens and like teal shades. Now I want to go into the shade called a Seahorse. And I've just been obsessed with using pastel mattes in the inner corner area. They just make such a difference and a pop. Oh yeah, and that's nice and pigmented. Just gonna take that all in here, and I'll run some in the inner portion of the bottom part too. So I think maybe I want to put a little bit of Pixie, the lighter teal metallic, just right there, like pop it right there. Yeah, I just want it a little bit right in that inner corner. So I don't think I'm going to use any more shadows from the palette. I'm just going to go off camera, work on some blending, put on some like mascara, something in the waterline, you know, the whole deal. And then I will be right back to show you guys the finished look. All right, so I'm back and here's the finished look. I'm loving all the different like tones of greens and how they like just combined so well together. And I am just living for this inner corner pot right here. This like tealy light shade is so beautiful and like vivid and bright. I'm just so happy with that. And I did also take another shade from this palette and I put it on my brow bone. Like, who am I doing a brow bone highlight? But I went into the shade Kava. It just looks so pretty, so I added that up there. And then I also put on the Glam Light Chocolate Donut Lashes. I also did use the e.l.f. Big Mood Mascara, and I used the LA Girl Shockwave Liner in Fresh because it just really matched with the inner corner. So I put that in the waterline, and I also went in with this Buxom lipstick in Fly Girl. Such a nice like nudie beige shade. I just wanted to keep it neutral on the lips, and that is how I completed this green look. I think we should now get into the final palette. So it is finally time to get into the final palette, the Berries palette. And I think I might do a halo eye. I'm not totally sure, but I know for sure I want to start off with this shade called Loyalty. This one right here. There's so many different like pinky berry tones in here. I really love the options. But I'm just gonna start off on the outer corner and probably do like more of a exaggerated wing today, like, you know, be a little extra. So I'm just packing that Loyalty shade for sure on the outer corner for now, and then I'll figure out what I want to do from there. But I think that's what I want to start off with. I'm also going to take the Loyalty shade down here and connect at the top because I want the whole outer wing to connect with the bottom. I want to use the shade called Lilo. It's like a deeper bright pink shade, and I want to use that through the crease. Ooh, yeah, it's pretty bright. I like that. And I'm gonna also go over the edge of that Loyalty shade and just bring it all through the crease. So I'm gonna go back into the Loyalty shade, and I'm going to just stamp that on in the inner corner. Hopefully it will sit over that matte shade that we laid down fine. We might have an easier time with these shadows. I'm gonna go into the Lilo shade on the bottom and like all the inner portion. I might take the Loyalty shade further in, but I just want that like in the front portion. It's such a bright, like vivid pink shade. So I do want to take a little bit of Journal. I feel like that is like the deepest shade in the palette. And I just want to put some in the inner and outer corner just to see if we can get it a little bit deeper. I'm just going to focus it in the very little corner. I'm not going to take it like up into the crease. I just want to see if that will make it just a little bit darker. Just a little bit, like a smidge. And a little bit in here too. All right, so I think that darker matte was able to lay over the other matte really well. So I did lay a little bit of a glitter primer from Give Me Glow in the center. I didn't use concealer this time because I just don't feel like doing all that. So I'm gonna go into the shade called Jura, and I'm gonna use that with this little brush here, which this one is from Luxie. It's the 246, and I forgot to tell you the other brush I was using was the Refer 26 that I used to deepen up the outer and inner portion. And that's all I can remember right now, but I'm really bad at telling you guys what brushes I'm using, and I'm not sure if it even matters. Does it matter? Do you guys care about that info? But I'm just taking that deeper kind of plum shade on the edge closest to the matte on the outer part and the inner part, and then I'm going to go on with something lighter in the center. I'm going to go into the shade called Daiquiri, the like peachy metallic that's in here, the peachy pink metallic, and I'm going to just use the same brush, but I'm going to clean it off real quick and pick it up. They pick up really well on a brush, and I'm just gonna lay that all in the center. So I want to go in with, I think this one in the inner corner, the shade right here called Sofa. And I'm going to get a pencil brush. I think this is from Morphe, the E36 brush. And I am going to wet it so I can have the shimmer go on with little fallout and have it go on a little bit more smooth. I think that's just the best method. And I'm going to just focus that right there in that little inner corner for a nice little pop. So that is it for the look. I think that's all the shadows that I'm going to use. I think I'm going to clean it up a little bit more off camera, get some like mascara, lashes, all that good stuff, figure out something for my lips, and I will be right back. All right, I'm back, and here is the finished look. I actually think it turned out pretty good, and normally I struggle with halo eyes for some reason, like getting the shade right. Usually like one side the shadows are a lot higher and then one side the shadows are a lot lower, and then I feel like I never get the shimmers in like the right place in the middle of my eye, but this is actually pretty good. So what I did off camera was I went in with the Fenty Beauty Mattemoiselle lipstick in Flamingo Acid, which is a deeper fuchsia shade, and this is like the perfect tone for this eye look. And then I also went in with the Lethal Cosmetics Gel Liner and Bit Crush. It's a very bright pink shade. Also went perfect with this look. I used the e.l.f. Big Mood Mascara. I also used the Lash Glue Liner from Kiss. And then I also have the Chocolate Candy Bar Lashes from Glamlight on my eyes. I love these lashes. I think these are like my favorite ones I've tried out of all the lashes I've been wearing. And that is how I completed this entire look. So I think I am ready to give you guys my thoughts on these palettes so far and wrap up this video. Okay, my loves, I am pleasantly surprised. I did not expect things to go this well with these palettes. I had very low expectations because I didn't love the Wilderness palette, and I was worried that I did a impulse purchase and wasted my money, but I definitely don't think I wasted my money with any of these palettes. I think all the looks turned out really beautiful, and I'm just really happy. I'm so happy I picked these up. So I just wanted to go over each one and give you like my thoughts and everything, and show you other palettes that they're very similar to. So I feel like this could be like an affordable option for some of these palettes. So the first one, the Midnight palette, I think this one is my favorite because I like that you have purple and blue. So you can do only purple looks, only blue looks, you can mix them up. It has light shades to deep shades, so you can do a lot with this. And I feel like this is very similar to some other palettes that are a little bit more pricey. So like the Glamlight Wine palette, I mean, come on, there's a lot of similarities. Now this one is leaning, I felt like a little bit more pink. This one doesn't have like blues in it, but it does have similar purple shades. This one is definitely cheaper. I do like the formula more in the Glamlight one, but if you're trying to like kind of get the vibe, like some of the purple shades, I think this would actually be a good option. And then the other palette that I felt like this is very similar to is the Lethal Cosmetics Night Flower collection. There are some shades that kind of overlap, and this one is like $50 versus $11. So if you like some of the tones in here, I'll show you guys up close. I think you could get a similar look. And then the Earthy palette, I also like the range in here because you can do like a little bit more grungy green looks, or you can do cool tone green looks, and I like that they put some tealy shades in here too. Now this one for sure, the darkest matte right here did not do well over other mattes. I tried to do that on the lower lash line and it started to kind of bald away and like sheer out, so definitely going with the darker shades for sure with this one. But I thought that there are some palettes that are very similar to this, and this is definitely a more affordable option. So I also have the Glamlight Dirty Martini palette, right? Like there are so many similar shades in here. Now, of course, I think the Glamlight formula is better, especially for the mattes. I think the Glamlight mattes are way better. I think the metallics are actually pretty similar between the two, but I mean, this is $11 and I think this is like 20 something. I can't fully remember the price of this one. Also, this one, if you missed out on this one's no longer available, but this is the BH Cosmetics Pistachio palette from the Sweet Shop collection that they had. This is no longer available, but you definitely have tones that match the tones in here. So if you missed out on this and you just wanted similar shades, now this formula was amazing. Like this can't compete to the formula in here, but you can get similar looks and make it work with this palette. Then the Berries palette right here, I really love this. This has really good options for being a monochromatic palette. You can do like a plummy look, a mauve-y look, kind of like a bright pink. You got some peachy shades in here too. And I'm just happy. I think this is really good. And I think this one did the best if you wanted to lay over darker shades over the other mattes. I think this one had like the best formula for that. And there are some palettes that I think are similar. So if you missed out on the BH Cosmetics Cherry on Top palette, which was also part of the Sweet Shop collection, there are definitely like shade dupes in this palette. So if you missed out on this, now of course this one is way better, but it's no longer available. And the other one that has similar shades is the Unearthly Cosmetics Sleepover palette. Now, by far, this is way better in terms of mattes and shimmers. But if you didn't want to pay $35 and you'd rather pay $11, but you kind of want to have some shades that overlap, I think this would go well. But if you want better formula, I would say go with this one. If you want it to be more affordable and you want an $11 palette, go with this one. And it does have more options, but I mean, formula cannot be beat in this one. This one is so good from Unearthly. And those were some of the comparisons that I wanted to show to you guys. But overall, I am just very happy with all of the palettes, and I think they all did really well, and I love all the looks that I did. But anyways, guys, that was my thoughts on this entire range of palettes. You guys will have to let me know in the comments below what you think about these palettes. Did you pick them up? Did you try them? Do you like the Beauty Bay formula? I would love to hear from all of y'all. And if you're new here and you enjoyed this video and you like a lot of fun, colorful makeup content, then please hit that subscribe button and join this little family. Also, don't forget to check out the description below. I will link all the palettes where you can find them. I'll link the rest of my makeup that I am wearing. I will also have other videos you might be interested in watching, as well as my contact info and my social media platforms. I'm also on Instagram as Breezy Lifestyle and Breezy_beauty. If you want to check me out over there, I'd really love that. And I just want to tell you guys, thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video, for supporting my channel and being here. I really appreciate it. But I just hope you guys are doing well wherever you are in the world. And I'm just sending you guys all so much love and light. But until next time, bye guys.